Hey guys, what's up? Dan here with a new video. Welcome to Casual Guides. Today we're gonna take a look at the Blights, Blight encounters in maps, and also we're gonna run a Blighted map together. Whenever I make a farming strategy, a lot of players ask me in the comments how exactly can you complete the Blight encounters. They seem to be failing quite a few of them. We're gonna run through multiple scenarios in this video and I'm gonna show you exactly what I do. So this is the scenario in which you have multiple lanes that converge into a single lane. This is the easiest type of Blight encounter that you can get. You need to understand a few things. These right here are gates, guys. So let's take a look at them. As you can see, from this gate we have monsters spawning that are immune to seismic towers. From this gate we have monsters spawning that are immune to summoning towers, and from this gate right here we have monsters spawning that are immune to fire towers. So what we want to do is, let's say we make an empowering tower here. This is really important. And we're also gonna make an arc tower, which is a shock nova tower upgraded to level 4. Now one thing that you have to keep in mind is that let's try not to fail this encounter, is that the Blight fire gates are really dangerous, guys. Okay, so as you can see, they are doing a lot of damage. So maybe, engage with a little bit of distance. And let's make a few more arc towers here. So none of these monsters are immune to lightning damage, so it's really safe to just spam arc towers for this scenario, and we're gonna be able to complete this Blight encounter without any issues. I also have these exploding rocks, and oh, so many things trying to kill me while I'm making this guide. Okay. So we've made a few arc towers and now we have no issues completing this Blight encounter. What you can do is you can add a chilling tower. Since monsters are immune to seismic towers, some of them you want to add some chillings, and if monsters are, for example, immune to chilling, you make some seismics. So this is pretty much all that there is to it. You can make arc towers whenever your monsters are immune to fire damage. Let's see what loot we get here, and then we're gonna run another one. We seem to have some nice loot. Let's go run another map. And this would be our second Blight encounter. Let's see what happens here. So we have some gates here, okay, that are gonna spawn some monsters, and if we take a look here, these monsters are gonna be immune to seismic towers, so we can't really stun them with seismic towers. Chilling towers would be better. And some monsters are gonna be immune to lightning damage, so we can't really use the strategy that we used in the previous Blight encounter when we were just spamming arc towers. So for this one we're gonna have to do something a bit different, and as the Blight encounter starts, wait a little bit for all lanes to spawn. You should have enough damage to clear these guys without towers, at least for a few seconds. So let's wait for the lanes to spawn, and then we're gonna start building some towers. So as you can see, we have a lightning tower there. So what we can do is we're gonna use an empowering tower here, and we're gonna make a meteor there, upgrade the empowering to level 3, and you make a meteor tower here. Okay, now for these guys that are coming through this part of the map, we can make an arc tower. And what we also want to do is let's make a chilling tower level 4 here to help us with keeping bosses in place. If let's say some of these gates may spawn 1 or 2 bosses, and it's gonna be a little bit harder to clear them. So as you can see, our arc tower is clearing these guys right here without any issues. Our meteor tower is clearing these guys without any issues. Our meteor tower is also dropping burning ground for 3 seconds on hit. The burning ground also damages monsters that are spawning from fire gates. And you can also just spam meteor towers, but they got a little bit nerfed and they're not doing as much damage as they were doing in the previous leagues. So as you can see, nothing complicated here. If we would have had some bosses that would have advanced a little bit more, our chilling tower would have slowed them a lot. We could have used our balsam skeletons, also our skeletons. Really simple, and we would have been able to complete this encounter without any issues. This was an encounter in which we had 2 lanes. This lane right here, and we also had this lane right here. So it's really not that hard to complete. This one is similar to the previous encounter because we were able to build our towers at the point at which these 2 lanes were converging. So again, pretty much the same. This time you had two lanes that were converging into a single lane. Let's go run another Blight encounter, but first let's take a look and see what we get here. Okay, so let's go run another one. So this right here is two lanes that are coming on the left, one and one on the right. These right here, they are immune to seismics, so what we can do is we can make a Shock Nova tower that we're gonna upgrade into an Arc tower, and we're gonna have more than enough damage to keep two lanes in place, guys. Okay, so for this one you're gonna need a character a little bit stronger, because you're gonna need to fight off one lane as your towers are holding this right lane right here. And what you can also do is you can add a chilling tower for bosses. And right here, as you can see, since this gate is immune to lightning and this one is immune to minions, let's make an empowering tower, and let's try to make meteor tower, and we're gonna add a chilling. Gonna make a meteor tower. We also have two Kohama one-shotting me. And whenever you die, you don't really need to hurry back, because the Blight encounters, when you're in your hideout, don't continue without you being inside the map. Let's go back inside the map. Now, whenever you start seeing the loading screen, they're gonna, the monsters are gonna advance a little bit. So now let's see what happens. Have we failed the Blight encounter or not? Okay, so no, we haven't. Okay, so as you can see, no issues even with the new engine update. We have our chilling tower here that is stopping these guys, and when we come back, we're gonna spawn a few skeletons. We're gonna wait a little bit for our meteor tower, and we're gonna complete the Blight encounter without any issues. So even if you die, there is no problem, because if you have some towers that are either dealing enough damage to keep them in place, or some towers that are stunning them, most of the time you're gonna be able to complete your Blight encounter. This is the Blight encounter when you get two lanes, one to the left and one to the right. Let's go run another map. Okay boys, and we have another Blight encounter here. As you can see, before starting the Blight encounter, I'm gonna clear the packs around it so that they're not gonna bother me as I'm trying to fight off monsters and place towers. You need to be careful and you need to pay attention to the Blight encounter as you're running it. It's not the type of mechanic that you want to run it as you have a lot of enemies on the screen distracting you. At least not as you're just learning how to run Blight encounters. Before we run a Blight encounter, we put a portal close, and this is needed even if you have a custom death portal set up, because Blight encounters sometimes spawn so many monsters that your game is gonna crash. And if your game crashes, if you don't get an instance crash, you're gonna start here, okay? And you're not gonna have enough time, and by the time you reach Cassia, the monsters are gonna overwhelm the pump. So always put a portal next to the Blight encounter. This is really important. Let's see what we get here. So this is the most complicated type of Blight encounter, and I have a feeling you're not gonna be able to complete it at first. It's gonna take you a little bit of practice, but pretty much the same as before. We're gonna have to try to block these guys as much as we can, and we're gonna use seismic tower here. For these guys right here, they are not immune to lightning, so we can make an arc tower here. Okay, so this one, I know you're gonna have to learn it yourself. It's a really complicated Blight encounter. Let's try to make an arc tower here. For these guys, they are immune to cold damage, so I'm just gonna clear them with my monsters. For these guys, I can make an arc tower again. And let's see, we're gonna spawn a boss from this lane, so we're gonna need a seismic tower here. So as you can see, I can't really teach you how to run these. You're gonna have to run them yourself and find out exactly, but pretty much look at the towers and understand what towers can counter these guys. So as you can see, boss stuck in place. For this boss right here, we can use our minions. For these guys right here, as you can see, seismic tower keeping them in place. And yes guys, if you're running a minion build or a build that does a lot of AoE damage, you're not gonna have any issues completing these Blight encounters with 5 lanes. Let's see what loot we get here. So this is the hardest one, and even I failed some of these. Sometimes you're gonna get extremely unlucky with tower placement, and there's really nothing that you can do, guys. Even on a build that has minions and explosions and clear speed, you're not gonna be able to complete all of these encounters. However, you're gonna be able to complete, I'd say, most of them. Let's go run another one. Okay boys, and for the final map it's gonna be a full blighted map. I've shown you all scenarios in blight encounters in maps. Let's take a quick look at blighted maps. There are two modes that you definitely want to avoid when you're rolling these maps. For example, monsters cannot be stunned. They are gonna be immune to stun towers, the seismic towers, and if you're gonna take a look at this mode right here, the second one, monsters cannot be taunted and the monster's action speed cannot be modified to below base value, which means that you're not gonna be able to use the chilling towers. So chilling towers are not gonna work here and seismic towers are not gonna work here. Don't roll these two modes on your blighted maps. For the anoints, if you wanna keep it cheap, simple and casual friendly, use the 3 crimson oils, and as you can see we have here around 36 blight chests that are lucky, so this is really nice. Let's run our blight encounter and see what's happening here. So as you can see, we have some monsters that are immune to seismic, some monsters are immune to minion damage, seismic, immune to fire damage, immune to lightning, and they are immune to minion damage again. So let's take a quick look at the lanes. Let's start this blighted map and see how we can plan our towers. The same as before, you want to build your towers whenever you see multiple lanes converging into a single lane. I would say that this is probably the best place to build these towers. We're gonna make an empowering tower here, and we're gonna make an arc tower here, and this should be enough to stop these guys. And for this lane right here, as you can see, these two lanes are also coming into this place right here. This tower is affected by our empowering tower, so we can make another arc tower here. Our empowering tower is buffing up these two towers, and arc towers are amazing when trying to clear trash monsters. And against rares, they're okay in blighted maps, but you're gonna have to help them out a little bit. Some rares are extremely dangerous. Now let's see what's gonna happen. I would say that this lane is okay. Now we have some more towers here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make an empowering tower. I'm gonna make a meteor tower here, but first I need to gather a little bit of resources. As you can see, we ran out, so let's wait a little bit. Yeah, so let's make the meteor tower. What you also have to keep in mind is that we have built some towers here, guys. And if you're gonna stay at the pump, it's okay. But if you're gonna go really far away from the pump and from your towers, those towers are not attacking anymore, guys. Let me show you. As you can see, some monsters have escaped, guys. These towers are not attacking anymore if you go really far away from the pump or from the towers. Really important. Now, let's make a meteor tower. And we're also gonna make an arc tower. And we seem to have some bosses, this one or this one, they are immune to seismic towers, so we're gonna have to build some chilling, so we can just block them and clear them with our minions. As you can see, really simple. We have another lane that has spawned. So let's clear this boss first, and we're gonna go back and build some towers. Multiple lanes are converging into this spot right here, I'd say. So what I'm gonna do, empowering in the middle, arc tower here. Okay, I'll summon skeletons to the right because that boss is there. Finish building up your tower and let's go clear this boss. The boss is down, no issues. So here, let's see, we have no monsters that are immune to chilling towers. We're gonna make chilling towers for the bosses that may escape. We want to hold them in place. And we can make, for example, a fire tower. We can make a shock nova tower. Make a meteor. Sometimes you have to move a little bit. Cassia bugs out and she's not gonna build your towers until you move. So arc towers, don't really be upset if one or two monsters escape. A boss is gonna chip away 10 life at your pump. There is a really dangerous boss that's gonna spawn from Blight fire gates, so you have to be really careful with that one. We didn't get it in this map, but from a Blight fire gate, sometimes you're gonna get a golem, a fire golem, and whenever he dies, he multiplies into multiple bosses. So extremely dangerous that one. You're gonna have to use your Val summon skeletons, you're gonna need some arc towers, some meteor towers, and you know, sometimes you're gonna fail a map because of that boss. It happens. Let's say if you're building towers here, and you have no towers here, and that golem has advanced, let's say up to this point, I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to defeat it, at least on a league start gear setup. As you can see, there's really nothing complicated going on here, guys. We're using seismic towers, we are using arc towers, we can use some chilling towers, okay, but be mindful of immunities and build your towers wherever multiple lanes converge into a single place, guys. So it's really simple. And as you can see, this is your blighted map. I don't think, yes, this is the first blighted map in around 4 months. It's really not a complicated mechanic, as long as you understand what these gates here do and what these towers here do. You have also enough life on your pump, so you can get the occasional slip here and there. It doesn't really matter. And whenever you get to the end of the map, you're gonna notice some lanes that are gray. From these gray lanes, we're not gonna spawn any more monsters, but you're gonna have some lanes that are yellow. We want to turn the yellow lines into gray lines so that we can finish the map, and we can do that by advancing and destroying these guys a little bit faster. And after they're dead, as you can see, our lanes that were yellow turned into gray, and we have finished our blighted map. Let's take a quick look at the loot, and this is your guide for blight encounters in maps and for blighted maps. This is the loot that we're getting. Sometimes, you know, amazing loot, sometimes, you know, not that much, but stack decks are quite expensive at any point in the league, so you're gonna make enough currency. You're also gonna get the occasional 21 gems. They can also drop as a 2120. Let's see here, you can get the occasional divine, quite rare. Essences are only gonna be screaming, sadly, and yes, they look a lot. They really aren't a lot of currency though. So let's see what we have here. You can take a look at these lanes right here, and you can follow them, as you can see on the minimap. And we have some ghastly eye jewels here, so if you're playing a minion build and you're running the uber strict filter, press alt and pick up your ghastly eye jewels and take a look at them later. And we have some fragments here, no high value fragment, and this was the end of our map. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I hope this video helped you out a little bit. Thank you for watching, good luck, and I'll see you in the next one.